Brothers, a.k.a. Latin X up. I got to come up with $250 to put his name into the application process. That's comical. What's more comical than that? Hey, Mario Brothers, they said you're in. You need to write a check for $35,000. So the folks that are nominated, they have to come up with 35 grand. Now, there was a Fox 8 story, and Eugene Green was referencing like Ruby Bridges, and how's her family going to come up with that? Where is her family? That it's like Ruby Bridges isn't on the top 50. She wasn't on the first 50. Yeah, that Ruby Bridges or her mother, Lucille Bridges, not in that top 50. I mean, crazy. That would have been a nice one. Ruby and Lucille Bridges, because I'm not knocking Ruby at all. Ruby's a hero. She was 6. She had no idea what she was doing. She didn't know what heroic or courageous or anything was. She was just going to school, thought it was Mardi Gras. There were a lot of people around. Her mom, Lucille, 26 years old, that allowed her daughter to go into that situation. That's the brave, courageous one. Lucille Bridges, who just passed away like 3-4 years ago. No street named after Lucille Bridges. No school named after Lucille Bridges. Man, New Orleans, what's wrong with you? My buddy who lives in Denver, native New Orleanian, loves the city more than some folks that are still here that are natives that claim they love it. He sends just a text to me. This says it all. I know nothing about this, but the headline sums up the entire city. And it's the NOLA.com article. City Council calls for pause in funding on NOLA Walk of Fame. Master P cries foul. So my friend from Denver, who's a native New Orleanian, grew up here his whole life, knows the city as well as anyone. This says it all. I know nothing about this, but the headline sums up the entire city. And then I said, hey, New Orleans wants you in their Walk of Fame. Congratulations. Now fork over $35,000. He said, such a low bar has been set. And I replied back, there's a bar? There is a bar? There is one? No. City Council calls for pause in funding over NOLA Walk of Fame. Master P cries foul. And my friend, a native New Orleanian in Denver now, says, this says it all. I know nothing about this, but the headline sums up the entire city. And it really does. It's crazy. And if my buddy in Denver would just, don't waste your time, but if he were to just look into this a little, it's obnoxious. It's the mayor and Master P coming up with the most significant native New Orleanians, natives, that's what it was in the beginning, in the history of this city. And Drew Brees is on the top 50. He's not a native. I think Drew Brees should be in the top 50s. One of the most influential New Orleanians ever. He's just not a native. So they made an exception for him. And LaToya Cantrell's on the list, which is pee in your pants funny. And she wouldn't be in the top 500. Is there a bad list, a crap list? Anyway, she's on the list. She's from Los Angeles. I don't know. It's typical New Orleans crap. And then there are a bunch of people. Clyde Drexler's from New Orleans. I love Clyde Drexler. What has he done for New Orleans? Todd Graves, Raising Cane's, Baton Rouge guy, born in New Orleans. Reese Witherspoon, great actor. What does he have to do with New Orleans? I don't know who came up with this stuff, the whacked agenda, the craziness. There's so many people that don't deserve to be on the list. I mean, until they roll out like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. You got some people right now in the top 50 that might not be in the top 500 if it ever got that large. So the Walk of Fame's been screwed up since day one. We're going to talk about it. Eugene Green, Councilman, District D, City of New Orleans. He's going to join us to discuss this because he's one of the council people freaking out about the $500,000 and also about, the person that gets nominated needs to come up with $35,000. It just doesn't stop. Yeah, Eugene Green joins us next. With you on a wide open Wednesday.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
As New Orleans as the mighty Mississippi, Corey Johnson.
The old miss, the old man.
On 93.9 FM and 107.9 FM.
Deep River, my home is over Jordan.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Eugene Green, Councilman District D, City of New Orleans, joins us on the program again. How are you, Eugene?
Just doing fine, Corey Johnson. How are you? And to your listeners, I say hello and good afternoon.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Hey,
My
Eugene, let's make the announcement. You want to be on the New Orleans Walk of Fame? If you've got $35,000, you're in.
Look, let me tell you something. I don't make up any facts. At the end of the day, the issues have to be decided as to why that offer was made. But at a meeting of the New Orleans City Council, a presentation was made that suggested $35,000. I'm not necessarily knocking that if that's the intent of what the Walk of Fame is. But when I see that it was to be made to recognize educators, to recognize community development leaders, to recognize, musicians. A lot of musicians make money, maybe not here in New Orleans, some of the best known. I had a concern about that. I expressed it, but I want to make it clear that's exactly what was presented to us, that there would be a $35,000 fee. I think that you might have even seen the agenda or something like that tells you that it was on it. So I don't want to necessarily say that the charge itself is wrong if somebody wants to do that, but it's something that I would have an issue with, and I stand on that statement.
No, I do too. I mean, when you win the Nobel Peace Prize, they pay you. You get money. They don't say, "Hey, you won the Nobel Peace Prize. Come up with $35,000." I bet they pay for the trip. They pay for your hotel room, your meals, all of that stuff. No, it's mind blowing, Eugene. You're literally going to go to whoever might be on the list. I mean, this is funny. I want to bring this up in a second. Like Ruby Bridges' family. And Lucille passed away. Ruby Bridges, you'd go to her, 60 years old, maybe 64 years old, and be like, "Hey, congratulations, you're on the Walk of Fame, but you need to come up with $35,000. You're gonna that's the plan."
All I can say is just the facts. It was presented to us. I expressed the concern. It's been suggested that I was being political. I'm not being political with the facts. That's my opinion, that I would have a concern asking certain people or their families, especially if they're the deceased, to come up with that amount. Now, that's not the intent maybe behind some of those who are proposing the Walk of Fame, but when you recommend to me certain categories, it suggests to me that that's exactly your intent, to recognize people who've made a difference in our city, who have been recognized on a national level. Sometimes not all of them have the resources to be able to come up with $35,000.
Eugene, you're a native New Orleanian, right? And what, a Harvard graduate?
Yes.
Right. You know the city. Bringing up Ruby Bridges, I read the Fox 8 story. You mentioned Ruby Bridges, as I would and any New Orleanian would. But guess what? She's not on the first 50.
Well,
she's not on the list.
I will use my ability to be politically discreet of that one and say we were not asked. The city council was not asked, which was one of the questions that I brought up, which doesn't mean that we have to have been asked, but we weren't asked, and we might have gotten a couple of those suggestions.
I'm just saying, asked or not, you assumed Ruby Bridges would be on it like any New Orleanian with the slightest bit of knowledge of the history of this city. Top 50 most influential New Orleanians. Obviously, Ruby Bridges is on that, and she's not on the top 50. She wasn't on the list, which blows me away, which gets back to what the council's talking about. Basically, this New Orleans Walk of Fame wants the city council to give them $500,000 out of the Wisner Fund, correct?
Well, that wasn't, yes. Well, the answer is yes. That was what was said. We actually never got that specific request in the form of something in writing, but council members asked for a budget. We asked for the composition of the selection committee to be involved, and then we expressed our opinions. My opinion happened to include Ruby Bridges, but there were other concerns. Councilmember Moreno expressed the concern relative to the recognition of Reese Witherspoon, who was born in Metairie at the end of the day, versus Patricia Clarkson, for example, who's the daughter of Jackie Clarkson, who's well known in the city.
And a much bigger actor. A much bigger actor than Reese Witherspoon. I mean, Todd Graves, love the guy. Hope he gives to New Orleans, but he's a Baton Rouge guy, just born here. Clyde Drexler. I love Clyde Drexler. Clyde the Glide. He was the man, but he's born here and nothing. This, how the committee came up with the people, how they came up with the selections. Plus, there's so many people, Eugene, that one could argue are way premature, that they shouldn't be on the top 50. Maybe when you get to the top 150, 200, 250, maybe you consider these folks. I mean, there's just lots of flaws in it. And is it Master P and the mayor deciding this and a couple of other people with an agenda? Or is it fair, objective New Orleanians of all walks of life that know the city's history and are coming up with a meaningful list?
Well, Corey, I'd like to maybe err in favor of, because people said that they made a decision based on a consideration of a number of factors, that they took things into account that were important to them. My opinion was based on the Walk of Fame and the fact that it was going to be looking at educators and community development leaders and the like. And I expressed my opinion regarding Ruby Bridges and I think one other party. And I stand on my opinion. They are actually free to offer their opinion as to why they did what they did. But it was suggested that this was just the beginning. So I do want to say I know that there is potential for growth and that there's potential for reconsideration of others. But in this particular instance, I think that what rubbed some council members a little bit wrong is that we weren't included in any of the decision-making processes, including maybe how they would be placed or where. And then we're being asked for $500,000 for a $6.5 million project, of which we have no budget. And also, I'm not necessarily certain that the Wisner Fund would be the fund that we would use to say that people would come up with their own money. We only act on what is presented to us. What was presented to us was a $250 application fee, a $35,000 charge should you be selected to participate in the Walk of Fame, and a $500,000 request as part of a $6.5 million budget. We have to act on the facts that we have available to them, but I do have a right to comment on what I see as something that is a shortcoming. I believe that to be a shortcoming, the $35,000. Others may say that's the cost of maintaining the Walk of Fame over time, and that's fine. They're welcome to that opinion. I think it's a flawed process in this regard. I think $35,000 is too much, especially when you're going to potentially include people who are deceased.
No, exactly. Who are you going to go to get that money from? It's insane that there's any charge at all. The city maintains it themselves. It's a piece of art that's like weather resistant. What maintenance and requirements are there? This group should be a nonprofit, which they already are, and go seek money from folks that want to contribute to this. And that's the end of it. Now, I love that the council's saying no to the $500,000 right now, at least, and requesting budgets, how the selection process works, and overall operations of this nonprofit. And y'all are getting, kind of upset. Master P freaking out. I mean, I think that's revealing. I don't think you just hand over $500,000 to any entity and, hey, have fun with it. I think there needs to be some oversight.
I think it's fair that questions were asked on the part of the council. I don't think that any of it was political. It was a presentation, remember, that was made to us. It's not a presentation that we solicited. It was a presentation that said that the money was going to be part of a $6.5 million budget, and we didn't have an outline for the budget. It would be kind of irresponsible for us to say, something, that's something that we'll go with. So there's going to be additional information provided. But let me make it clear. I stand on exactly what I said because that's my opinion. At the end of the day, I think that would be a challenge, but let's make it clear that it was presented in writing to us. It's not something that I made up, and it's not political. It was a $35,000 fee to be incorporated into the Walk of Fame per the proposal that was submitted to us. It's not a makeup. So let's address that issue. If it's not something that's going to happen, then that's fine. But that's not political for us to raise a concern relative to that matter.
No, I guess that's their personal matter. But I think that's absurd that they want a nominee's got to come up with $35,000 is crazy.
There would have been no comments whatsoever if there would have been no comments with regards to anything if there had not been a presentation before a public body. We are a public body. We take into account the concerns of the public. Anyone who wished to do an activity like that and not involve the city council in any of the funding or the mayor in any of the funding, if you can get the private sector considerations or even if you can get the private sector considerations or some public sector considerations from some other entity, that's just fine. It came before the New Orleans City Council, the Community Development Committee, which has members who are supposed to ask questions in behalf of our constituents.
Why do they need any money? 35,000 times 50? What is that, about 1.8 million? 1.7 million? I'm doing math quick. You know,
$1.75 million. But
the top 50 people are going to come up with $1.7 million if they want to be on the Walk of Fame at $35,000 a head, and they still need $500,000 from the city. Wow.
Well, I think that we asked the questions, but we are open, and I want to make this clear because it's not a political issue. We are open to seeing the budget and the makeup of the committee and maybe alterations to the process. So this should not be the end of discussion at the end of the day, but it is not political.
And I hate this.
In many instances, it is responsible for us to ask questions and to express opinions. That's not politics all the time. That's doing what our constituents would ask. When I go and sit at a community meeting and people ask me if we decide to give the $500,000, what it was for and what some of the considerations are, I express my concern that if I sit down with a community group and say that it's $35,000 for somebody to be on the Walk of Fame, they are going to ask me a question. They are going to send the people who are responsible are going to have the right to ask a question. So that's all I'm saying, Corey. I appreciate you having me on with an opportunity to talk to you. I'm open to considerations and suggestions. I'm just not open to turning everything into it's about politics.
No, I got you, Eugene. I appreciate you joining me. I'll end it with this. One thing that maybe these folks should consider if they show you the budget, the nominating process, everything looks kosher. Maybe they got to scratch this first 50 and start over again because, it's got a lot of flaws in that first 50. And I don't think you want to have that be the foundation, the starting spot. Just my opinion.
Well, Corey, I do want to say this. I don't want to use the word flaws because in my position, if that was the opinion of those who are doing the project, I can accept their opinions of saying you made a decision and that is fine. We were asked to assist with basically going forward in the process. And I expressed my concern relative to that. I expressed my concern and I stand on it. I asked the simple question of, was any member of the city council consulted relative to this project itself and the decision making? It wasn't just who was in it.
No, you're right. Project. No, that probably would have got maybe a better
public sidewalk.
No, it would have been a better, selection committee and all of that, and maybe we wouldn't have the problems. No, I do think it's flawed. I think it has an agenda, and even as a councilman, Eugene, because you are a councilman, you have to protect the city, and you don't want to fund something that has an agenda and you don't feel good about. We don't need, the Joe Blow, the lawyer guy, or Joe Blow, the garbage man on the Walk of Fame if he isn't deserving, and it's sort of kind of a universal acceptance. So anyway, just my thoughts.
Well, Corey, yeah, I do appreciate that, but I do want to say this. I don't want it to be said that Councilman Green said there was an agenda because they made...
No, Corey Johnson said there's an agenda.
Right, okay, right, because there could be some very sincere reasons that certain people were selected.
Of course.
That was beyond me. I was talking about the future.
I get it. No, I get it. I'm just saying, 25 or 30 are legit, and a good 20 or so are shouldn't be on the list. But anyway, Eugene, thanks so much. I love having you on.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and to you and your listeners, thanks for this opportunity. I look forward to talking to you again.
Definitely.
We're always open to suggestions.
I like that. That's Eugene Green joining us. Corey Johnson with you. We're coming right back.
With 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville, a day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City. Not a politician or part of a political machine. Corey Johnson.
I propose that I use what's left of the town treasury to move to a more prosperous town and run for mayor.
In Metro New Orleans on 93.9 FM and 107.9 FM.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks so much for joining us on this Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. Wide Open Wednesday, you're the show producer. Whatever you'd like to discuss, 766-9480, 766-9480. Let me know when my mommy comes in the back of the building in her station wagon to pick me up. I stepped on a caterpillar earlier today and my foot hurts. My mommy's coming to pick me up in the station wagon out back. I guess she'll honk the horn. No, don't be dumb. Don't be a dummy like Corey. I walked out on my front lawn today barefoot. Got about 20 steps onto my front lawn. I thought I stepped on some like stick that poked me in the bottom of my foot, but it wasn't. It was a caterpillar. So I got stung today. I haven't been stung by a caterpillar since I was a tot, since I was a kid. It hurt. All right, let's move on. Hey, if you missed the last segment, you missed a lot. Eugene Green joined us, city councilman. This New Orleans Walk of Fame that the mayor and Master P have put together, it's pathetic. The top 50, there's about 25 or so that are legit, and then it's a bunch of crazy choices, like the mayor herself and Master P, top 50 most influential New Orleanians. And originally it was native New Orleanians, and the mayor's from Los Angeles. But anyway, they wanted $500,000 from the city council so they can continue their work. By the way, this is the craziest thing ever. If you're a nominee like, hey, let's say like Meg Farris from Channel 4 is going to be a Walk of Fame nominee. Congratulations, Meg. You got to come up with $35,000 to get your plaque done. And so then the winner comes up with $35,000. If you got 50 people, that's like $1.7 million. Like, why do they need $500,000 from the city? But you win something and they request $35,000 from you is an insane way of doing things anyway. Hey, speaking of Meg Farris, New Orleans Walk of Fame future member, maybe. She joins us live on the program from Channel 4 WWL-TV. What up, Meg?
Hey, Corey, I can confirm right now that I have not been asked, nor do I think I would ever be asked, and nor do I have the money to pay for my name on the sidewalk. So there you go. Were you asked?
I was not asked, and I would, if I were and they wanted $35, I would give it to them. I'm like, you know.
And by the way, I have been stung by one of those horrible buck moth caterpillars before, and it hurts 100%.
No, it's painful. I keep taking my shoe off and feeling my foot because it feels like there's like a wad of paper in my sock, but there isn't. My foot just is swollen from the on the bottom where I stepped on the caterpillar. But boy, I'm thinking now, I'm like, did you really walk in the front yard with no shoes on? And I went out with shoes, and they're all over my yard. They're all over my oak tree. I'm like, boy, Corey, you weren't thinking one bit there.
Oh, I can't stand those things. And listen, you really need to watch it and keep it clean because, you don't want it to get infected. And some people, try to get the little stingers out, with a piece of tape or something. So just watch it. I've known you for too long to let anything happen to you.
That's Channel 4 medical reporter Meg Farris. Meg, thanks so much for joining us. We'll visit again later. Oh, boy. You are the medical reporter over at Channel 4.
That's right. And I am proud to say that my crazy, neurotic workout schedule convinced you to come work out, and you have gotten in incredible shape doing CrossFit with me.
Yeah, the story's pretty funny. I always knew you did some CrossFit like on River Road. I had no idea where. Yeah, I see you on TV. I'm like, look at Meg's guns. She's got these cut up arms, and she's lean, and she looks fit, and television adds weight, and you look lean and look fit. So, and I know you've been doing it for years. The story's pretty funny. I'll make it quick. It was like Mardi Gras Day, and some guy who's just like an antagonist on Twitter was like, going down to the quarter with my kids. And I'm like, who brings their kids to the quarter on Mardi Gras Day? And then this guy, Bradley Schneller, owner of Stacked Gym, replies back, hey, Corey, what happened to you? And I'm like, what do you mean what happened to me? Who would bring their kids to the quarter? He's like, I bring my kids to the quarter. I'm like, yeah, my dad used to bring us to the quarter. And by like 10 or 11, we're out of there. And Bradley's like, oh, yeah, of course. And he's like, what? And then the other guy's like, no, I stay all day with my kids. And then Bradley starts attacking the guy with me like he's a moron. And we were on the same page all of a sudden. And then I'm like, this guy's pretty cool. So I looked at his bio. I'm like, oh, wow, he owns a gym. And then we got in touch. He's like, yeah, oh, you're in the media? Meg Farris is in the gym. I'm like, oh, my God. And then it just took off from there.
And it is fun. It is that kind of culture. We have fun. I call it recess. We play. There's, class leaders and it's fun. It's also my mental health. I don't know what I do every morning without that hour of really getting after it. But I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you.
Well, thanks, Meg. Thank you very much. Well, I think if they shot video in there, they'd be like, Corey doesn't look like he's having fun. Corey looks like he's just beat up and breathing and dying, sweating, and he's worn out.
Well, truth be told, when you first started, I would be on round 3 and you were still finishing round 1 because you'd stop and talk to all the cute girls.
That's a positive. That's a good thing. Oh boy. Yeah, there's some
it is fun. Everybody becomes good friends and you almost forget you're working out.
No doubt. Hey Meg, when did you first start at Channel 4 TV? Like what were you in television before? What got you into TV?
Well, this man named Phil Johnson, I think you've heard of him, said I sent some of my work to him from Ole Miss. And he was the one who gave me a job at Channel 4 as an intern. And I never left. 44 years, and I never left. And I am forever grateful to your father for giving me that opportunity.
44 years you've been at Channel 4?
Yes. I think before they made those automatic cars that drive themselves, I think my car would just go straight there. even if I wasn't driving it.
No, I bet. Yeah, it knows the route for 44 years. My God. So what, 1981? That's when you started there?
And have made the closest, dearest friends who we are determined when we are all living in the senior home to all live together. Really, really close, wonderful people who I worked with for many, many years and wouldn't trade my career for anything. And the people of New Orleans, to get to do reporting in the city where you grew up, there's nothing like it. And the people are just so wonderful and treat me like family. And they are my family. The viewers, they are family to me. I care about them. When I do a story, I'll go to their weddings. I'll go to the funerals. That's just how you become with people in New Orleans. I can't imagine doing this in a city that didn't have the viewers that we have.
So 1981, you're an intern at Channel 4. When did you get like a part-time or full-time gig?
3 years as an intern, and then I became full-time doing some behind-the-scenes things, and I really wanted to be a reporter and got my chance to do it. Channel 4 was very, very encouraging and very big on promoting from within. And that was the culture there. And because of that, there were so many people there who were loyal. We were loyal up, and management was loyal down.
When was your first on air?
1985. I did New Orleans for Today, which was a community events calendar type reporting. And then I became medical health reporter in the early 90s, because that's what I really wanted to do. But I've also, in the last many years, done a lot of general assignment reporting too.
Wow.
Anything goes when you get there. You could be sent out on anything, from a hurricane to crime to a court case to a feature. There's just so much. New Orleans is a really good story town. It just is, even more than some big markets.
Oh, no, I think New Orleans compares to almost New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, Boston, like places that are 5-10 times our size in the metro. And we have just the politics, the news, so many interesting stories all the time.
Whenever there's a national story, there's always some local tie. The president is shot and killed in 1963. There's a local tie.
Yep.
There's always big stories. There's always some little crumb, some trail back to New Orleans.
No, it's so true.
Unfortunately, sometimes.
No, it's so true, Meg. Meg Farris is with us from Channel 4. Meg, I'm going to knock out a quick break, come right back. Meg's got a new show she wants to tell you about. Stick around.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Uptown, Carrollton, Riverbend, Holly Grove, Kirktown, Gentilly, Lakefront, West Bank, Lakeview. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Meg Farris from Channel 4 Television for 44 years at Channel 4 TV. Since she was a tot interning way back in the early 80s. Has never left. Meg, there's not too many people in America in 2025 that have worked at one single place for 44 years.
What's that?
There aren't many people in the United States of America that have worked in 2025 that have worked at one single place for 44 years.
And you know, Corey, the generations younger, that's not something you aspire to. That's something that, you know, back in the day, as they say, you aspired to. But now people hop around, you know, constantly, grass is greener somewhere else. But you know, at Channel 4, first of all, being in your hometown, and second of all, it was so well run and so well managed. And at the time I was hired, run by Loyola, and it was the number one station in the country. It was the place to be. You were at the top.
No, it was funny.
You worked there.
It was funny, even as a child, you'd go out of town and you'd be in a much bigger market and watch their news and be like, am I in Laurel, Mississippi? What the hell is this?
Yeah.
It was like amateur hour.
I mean, if you remember, there was big national, international stories, and our anchors traveled around the world to cover them. So, and Loyola was known for its communications journalism department, and it was just a really wonderful place to work, and they believed in growing their talent.
Hey, Meg, tell us about your new show.
I'm really excited about that, Corey. Okay, so it only took me 44 years to become an overnight success, you know. So I have a new show. Streaming is all the thing now. More people are watching on-demand television rather than just watching television for whenever a show comes on. So my new show is called Message Meg, and it's like a half-hour talk show where we can really dig deep into different subjects. And then it lives on streaming all the time, so you can watch it anytime. We did a 3-part series on the weight loss injections, the GLP-1 peptide injections. We did a 3-part series on hormone replacement for women and men, and menopause and andropause and sex life after hormones, and women who take them. And then we always have the experts on. We did. We did a segment. One of the top places to come for breast cancer and breast reconstruction is right here in New Orleans, in the world. And we had, we showed before and after pictures, or we do show that. People can go look at that show. That was an hour long, of these top surgeons and the incredible results they get, not only making women well at the breast center, but then restoring their entire body and aesthetic look. And women from around the world who have had surgeons who have not done a good job and have come here and they have fixed them and just gave them their lives back and their confidence back. So we've done several shows. It's Message Meg, because people would message me when they'd see a story I've done and say, hey, can you tell me more about it? How can I get help from that doctor? How can I contact this patient who's going through the same thing I am? And so I would always get back to them and try to help someone with his or her health. And so people were giving us topics that they wanted in more detail. And so that's what we've done.
How can folks find Message Meg? And how can folks message Meg?
Okay, so number one, just like you download the Netflix app or any other app, you go to your smart TV and you download the WWL Plus app, and that's the plus sign, not PLUS, okay? And then you just find the tab, scroll through, you find the tab, Message Meg, and you can pick from, we have several episodes out now on different topics, and you can stream it and watch it. You don't have 30 minutes or an hour at that minute. You can come back and pick up where you left off the next day. And you can watch it anytime, day or night, any hour of the day. And our app is free. And we have lots of other things on WWL Plus. We have David Hammer Investigations. We have sports shows with Doug Mouton. We have our newscast is on there. We have old Frank Davis stories, they're always fun to watch. So we'll pull out old Frank Davis stories of Thanksgiving, of him, making a turkey. So there's lots of original programming on WWL Plus.
And how can folks message you with maybe a question or a story idea or topic for your show?
Message Meg Show at gmail.com. And I'll be happy to listen and get back to them.
Message Meg Show at gmail.com.
You got it.
We missing anything, Meg?
Let's see, Corey. Well, future shows we have coming up are on how weightlifting changed my body, how it's changed lots of people's bodies, as women think, oh, you're going to bulk up. You need to run, you need to jog all the time, which I did for years and destroyed my knees. But so we have the science behind that, and we have real patients. We have something called POTS, which is an autonomic dysregulation that young women are getting, this mysterious thing since they had COVID, where they feel like they're having panic attacks, anxiety. They're having all these different issues from their autonomic nervous system that has happened since COVID. So we have a show coming up on that is not out yet, but lots of ideas coming out. They're mostly about health, because I love making people learn and feel good about themselves, because, a lot of it, if you just have the knowledge, it changes your life mentally and physically.
Uh-oh, look who's here, Meg. Oh, Blue Boy. Where is he? There he is. Meg, always a pleasure. We'll be checking out Message Meg.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you.
That's Meg Farris from Channel 4. And that's Blue Boy barking up a storm. Go get him, Blue Boy.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. A familiar tune as we head to the 5 o'clock power hour on this wide open Wednesday, where you're the show producer. Whatever you'd like to discuss. Mario Brothers, aka Latin X, at the controls. 766-9480. 766-9480. But now, number 9. That's right. Thank you, Drew Brees. It is, in fact, New Orleans. 766-9480. You might want to remember that number because I'm going to give away a couple of $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates. Yeah, you're right. The Woodhouse, 5 locations. Mid-City, New Orleans, Metairie near North Kenner, Mandeville, Slidell, Baton Rouge. WoodhouseSpas.com. You can check out the website, virtual tour, print gift cards online, book an appointment. WoodhouseSpas.com. Yeah, I've got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. Throw out a few trivia questions momentarily. I had Eugene Green on last hour, Councilman District D, City of New Orleans. The council doing the right thing. This is just so half-cocked. Just, the idea is actually good. If I have to give the mayor or Master P credit for this good idea, I'll give them credit for the idea. But taking the initial idea and implementing their plan with this idea is absolutely terrible. Just when people have an agenda and it's overt, it's obvious, it's a nightmare. You can wreck a great idea. This New Orleans Walk of Fame, like a Hollywood Walk of Fame, these placards, sunk into the sidewalk. I think it's a great idea up and down Canal Street. They came out with the first 50. It's supposed to be top 50 most influential native New Orleanians. And then that native part kind of got tossed aside because Drew Brees is on the list and LaToya Cantrell's on the list. Yeah, the mayor's on the list. Master P is on the list. Now, Master P, maybe there's some legitimacy to him being on the top 50 list, but maybe he's like the next 50 or the 50 after that. And maybe he's in the top 50. But if he's part of the group putting this together to start, he doesn't go in the first 50. He steps aside. Instead, he injects himself in it. It's crazy. No, and who's the committee that's nominating these folks? Because it's insane. There's 50 people. There's about 25 that are legit. There's about another dozen that at the very least are way premature, like Mia X or, politicians like Carter or who else is recently on that's an active politician right now. Troy Carter's one and Cedric Richmond. It's like, wait, let's slow this roll down a little bit. There's no Jelly Roll Morton on there. There's no Andrew Higgins. There's no Ruby Bridges or her mom, Lucille Bridges. How about the McDonough 3? They're not on the list. I mean, it's just like mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. No Andrew Higgins. You've just got a lot of people that should not be on the list. Like, there's a trio of people that I like a lot, that I respect. Todd Graves, Raising Cane's. He's a Baton Rouge guy, born in New Orleans, but doesn't really have any ties to New Orleans. Probably was a tot when he left. He's on the list. Just like, why Todd Graves? I mean, no native New Orleanian ever thinks of Todd Graves in New Orleans. And love that the guy is worth $9 billion and successful and started out of LSU on the LSU campus. It's a great story. 900 locations worldwide, worth $9 billion. What a success story. I'm pro Todd Graves. Not on the New Orleans Walk of Fame, maybe the Baton Rouge one. I think, what's her name? The actress, Alicia Silverstone or whatever her name is. Fine actor. Born in New Orleans and left. Patricia Clarkson grew up on the West Bank, graduated high school here, and a bigger actor, like A-list, basically, a bigger, especially in the context of New Orleans. And then Clyde Drexler, who I love, NBA Hall of Famer, great guy, born in New Orleans. No New Orleans connections. Just weird stuff like that. Mia X. I respect and like Mia X. But I bet if you ask Mia X, you'd probably be like, yeah, there's probably, 10 or 20 musicians that probably should be ahead of me. Trombone Shorty would probably say the exact same thing. There's like 10 or 20 musicians that should be ahead of me. Let's see. I think it's either Al Hurd or Pete Fountain. One of them's on it and one of them's not. Like not both, not Al Hurd and Pete Fountain. It's crazy. It's insane. So the list is flawed to begin with. You got Master P and the mayor and some committee they put together. I mean, is it a diverse group of New Orleanians? Is it from young to old? Is it folks that have experience and wherewithal, historic knowledge of the city? Or is it just people that want to be on it and nominate people? You got to put legitimate people on that committee. I would be a great person to put on that committee. And I'm not patting myself on the back or bragging. I know New Orleans. I'm 50-something years old. I've been around a while. I have no agenda. I'm not going to put friends on it. Not going to put just crazy stuff. The list has to be forever. You don't want to mess it up, and it's already messed up. So today or yesterday, folks from the Walk of Fame go to the New Orleans City Council and want $500,000 out of the Wisner Fund, like specifically $500,000 and out of the Wisner Fund. And the council's like, where's your budget? What's the nomination process? Overall operations. And Master P and these Walk of Fame folks freak out over these requests. Master P's like, we don't need your money. And then the board member's like, no, we do need the city's money. If this wasn't enough, we found out today that the winners that make the Walk of Fame, it requires $35,000. Like, Corey, you're going to be on the Walk of Fame. And I would turn it down. I'd be like, there are hundreds of people ahead of me. And I may not be deserving at all. Who knows? But I don't have $35,000. You think the mayor came up with $35,000? You think LaToya Cantrell came up with $35,000 to be on that Walk of Fame? Todd Graves didn't even show up for the ceremony. I think there are 4 placards officially in the ground. Just crazy. Let's see. This is... Once the committee finalizes its selections, the chosen honorees will be promptly notified. Each honoree will be required to confirm their acceptance by committing to attend the official dedication ceremony and contributing a nominal fee of $35,000. This donation supports the continued development, maintenance, and programming of the NOLA Walk of Fame, ensuring its sustainability and long-term impact as a cultural landmark. Wow. Each honor, they have to attend the official dedication ceremony, which Todd Graves did not, and contribute $35,000. Have you ever heard of anything crazy like this? The donations will be accepted online through the official NOLA Walk of Fame portal. You can put a nominee up online. $250 application fee for the nominees. And a category: cultural arts, civil engagement, music, education, sports, community leadership, innovation. The NOLA Walk of Fame Selection Committee will review all nominees and select approximately 10 honorees each year Selection criteria will include professional achievements, longevity in their field, contributions to the community. This is insane. Who's on the committee besides the mayor and Master P? What a master disaster. Eugene Green joined me last hour to discuss that because the NOLA Walk of Fame, this agenda-driven sham, wants $500,000 from the city. And if you're nominated, you win, you got to come up with $35,000. It's insane. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard of. And the idea is great. Just, the mayor and Master P follow through couldn't be any worse. Couldn't be any worse.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Young's Dry Cleaning with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City. Not an FM disc jockey, not a former politician, Corey Johnson.
You're not the DJ. You're a raconteur. You're a storyteller. You're a griot.
It's true. Yeah, you right. Crescent City. Corey Johnson back at you. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. Hey, Mario Brothers, Latinx, you ever been to McCarty's on Broad for fried chicken?
I have not.
Wow. It's a good place. I met a buddy of mine over there. We ate the fried chicken on the trunk of his car. Because McCarty's, throw some benches out there. Put a picnic table under that canopy. You got room. You're offset a little bit. Put a picnic table out there. Something.
It's part of the experience. Like Popeye's always making you wait for spicy.
It is really good. McCarty's is always good. Great fried chicken. Very friendly people. It gets crowded quickly. I met my buddy there. We got in and out quick. And then as we're waiting, the place filled up. And then we were like, all right, no tables, no benches. And then he just plopped down right on the trunk of his car. I'm like, good spot. And it was comfortable and nice. Sunny, but a breeze blowing. It was a nice lunch. On the trunk of his car, right outside of McCarty's on, I guess that's Broad at Bayou Road. Broad at Gentilly Boulevard, right there by the fairgrounds. You like good fried chicken, McCarty's is damn good. I got bit by a caterpillar today. Hey, everyone, thanks for joining us. Good night. Yeah, talk about I don't know is it pronounced dumbass? Dumbass? They're saying I'm a dumbass. Anyway, I wasn't a dumbass. I literally walked on my front lawn today barefoot and stepped on one of those caterpillars, and like my middle toe is about the size of my big toe, and it feels like there's a wad of paper in my shoe. And twice I've like taken off my shoe and stuck my hand in my shoe and felt my sock. I'm like, nope, it's just your foot. It's swollen. Anyway, watch out for those caterpillars. They're nasty. Turn into butterflies already, fellas. Hey, the phone number is 766-9480. 766-9480. Holdover question from yesterday. 50 big bucks to the Woodhouse can be yours. Believe it or not, there was a jazz festival where 3 weekends were scheduled. When did that go down? And a second question, how did the 3 weekends work out for that one jazz fest where 3 weekends were scheduled? 766-9480 is how you dial us up. 766-9480. You got the answer to either one of those questions? I got 50 big bucks. $50. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Check them out online, woodhousespas.com. It never stops in the city of New Orleans. A buddy of mine, a native New Orleanian, lives in Denver, Colorado. Loves the city, knows the city. Texts me this earlier today. It's the NOLA.com article. City Council calls for pause in funding on NOLA Walk of Fame. Master P cries foul. My friend sends that, and then this native New Orleanian now living in Denver writes, this says it all. I know nothing about this, but the headline sums up the entire city, and it's so true. And then if he did know something about it, it's a scam. It's Mayor LaToya Cantrell, Master P, who don't have the wherewithal, experience, knowledge, whatever, to pick and choose who should be on a greatest New Orleanian top 50 Walk of Fame. And the 50 they came out with, about 25 are legit, and like 25, the remaining 25, about half of them maybe get on the list way down the road, and then a dozen of them don't even deserve to be anywhere near the list. So if they want funding, I think it needs to start over again. Like, sorry, everyone who won, we're starting over again. You didn't get nominated. And then get a legitimate committee, like people with me on it, that know the city and its history and get people older than me and people younger than me, black, white, old, young, rich, poor, all different types of folks. They just have to know New Orleans, its history, its significant characters, people throughout its history. When you have a list that doesn't include Ruby Bridges, that doesn't include Andrew Higgins, that doesn't include, it's either got Pete Fountain or Al Hurt, but doesn't have both. Just crazy. When it's got somebody like Trombone Shorty on the list, who would clearly say, there are 10 or 15, maybe 20 musicians who deserve it in front of me. Mia X, she'd say the same thing. People like Trombone Shorty and Mia X, they get on the list down the road. They deserve to be on the list already at their young age. I mean, Trombone Shorty's probably like 40. Mia X is like 50. You know, they've earned it. But ahead of Andrew Higgins and ahead of like Al Hurt or Pete Fountain or, you know, think about the originators of music in New Orleans. The originators. They're nowhere near this list. They're nowhere near the list. It's crazy. So the list is flawed. The agenda's crazy. It's the mayor running it. Master P and the mayor, the Walk of Fame folks, go to the city council. They want $500,000. They even say where to get it. Out of the Wisner Fund, $500,000, $500,000. And the council's like, we want to see your budget. And we want to see how the nominating process works and your operations, you know, your kind of overall operations, how things run. And Master P freaks out, and the Walk of Fame folks freak out. Master P's like, we don't need your money. And then the Walk of Fame folks on the committee with Master P are like, no, we do need the city's money. Now, here's the crazy part. This NOLA Walk of Fame, Master P, LaToya Cantrell's idea with their whacked agenda. If you win, you got to come up with $35,000. That's what they're talking about. You win. Hey, you're the winner. You're going to be on the Walk of Fame. We need $35,000 from you. Now, the first 50, did they come up with $35,000? Todd Graves, who didn't even show up for the ceremony, did he write a check for $35,000? Did LaToya Cantrell write a check for $35,000? You're actually going to call Drew Brees and go, "Hey, dude, you're on the Walk of Fame. We need $35,000 though from you." I don't understand. I shouldn't say I don't understand. I understand. These people don't understand how things work in reality. You win. There's no money. You won. If anything, you know, hey, we're going to fly you down here if you don't live here, put you up in a hotel, give you food, whatever. You won. You're one of the winners. Instead, we need $35,000 from you? What about folks that are deserving to be on this list? Totally deserving. But we're more civic-minded than capitalistic-minded. We're selfless and gave back to the city and don't have money. They don't have to come up with the $35,000? Ready, fire, aim. Just half-cocked, shooting from the hip, just insane. Typical Mayor LaToya Cantrell. Like I've said, couldn't manage a Walgreens, a Burger King. Seriously. They go out of business. There wouldn't be stuff on the shelf. Your order would be messed up in the drive-thru every day. Mayor of the city? Think about that. Couldn't run a Burger King or a Walgreens. By the way, the mayor, first 3 months of 2025, I shouldn't say the first 3 months. The last 5 weeks, the mayor in D.C. for the third time. Mayor LaToya Cantrell is in Washington, D.C. for the third time in 5 weeks. Junket Cantrell back in D.C. Speaking of Junket Cantrell, she sent a letter to Ivy Way saying, we are terminating your French Quarter trash contract in 90 days. The contract was signed for a year, December to December of this year. But the mayor says, I guess it's July 1st or the end of July. The contract will be terminated and Henry Consulting will come in because they won the contract. Now, here's the deal. I have nothing against Troy Henry at all. But Troy Henry's no different from me. We both don't own garbage trucks or a garbage company. The only difference is Troy Henry bid on that contract and won it. And a company that picks up trash locally, Richards, wanted to have nothing to do with that bid, yet that's the subcontractor Troy Henry's hiring to clean the quarter. So Troy Henry rolls the dice. He doesn't own a trash company, yet he's bidding on the trash contract. Richards is going to be the sub. Troy Henry wins the contract. Troy Henry and Richards get into a dispute. They fall out. They're not going to work together. As a matter of fact, Richards sues Troy Henry, and Troy Henry countersues. The council sees this and says, the guy, this middleman who doesn't own a trash company, who won the bid and has to sub it out to a trash company, the company that he was going to sub it out to, that's part of the contract, they can't work it out. So we're terminating this contract. Troy Henry cries foul. What's going on? Well, I'll get somebody else. Gets another company. The other company doesn't own any trucks either. So it's a sub to a sub to a sub. Finally, Troy Henry and Richards work out their differences. But by this time, an emergency contract with IV Waste for a year has been, approved. And IV Waste goes in there right away and is cleaning up like they used to. Instead of twice a week power washing sidewalks, they do it every single day. The lemon fresh scent, everybody who lives in the quarter, all the businesses, they love it. The mayor's ignoring it and is just hell-bent on getting Troy Henry in there, and early too. August 1st, not January 1st. No, a lot of businesses and homeowners in the quarter a little pissed off about that. They like their lemon fresh scent. Corey Johnson with you on a Wednesday, wide open Wednesday, coming right back.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
I bet his smells like sandalwood.
Corey Johnson.
He's absolutely magnificent.
Got to keep this up till 6. Wow. Is Gayle King for real? Did you see any of this Mario Brothers Latinx?
No.
Gayle King, CBS morning show host, one of the hosts, Oprah Winfrey's pal. Just so out of touch. She takes this, space flight. And today, her space travel comments were comical. She's like, people are saying, what a ride. She's like, it wasn't a ride. It was a space flight. Like, don't try to make it like it was a ride. And then kind of was referring to herself like as an astronaut and like Alan Shepard. Same trajectory as Alan Shepard. I'm like, Alan Shepard went into orbit 60 years ago, literally 60 years ago, in something, that your phone has more computing power than the entire rocket ship had. Literally, your phone. It's not even close. Not even close. And astronauts died, and space travel was unproven, and these guys were heroes, heroic, and just the astronauts. I mean, are you kidding me? These few dozen men are special. Gayle King's not special. Gayle King just has a lot of money, or someone paid for her to have this all-women's flight. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. Seriously, I saw the photo of the women. I'd like to be the plastic surgeon of the women. Talk about some money. My God. Just women with the plastic surgery overboard thing. No, you could do like the housewives of, SpaceX or whatever, Blue Origin. No, but Gayle King, out of her mind. It was 62 miles up, which is considered like outer space, where you leave Earth and you go into space. There's no doubt they were up there for like 10 minutes and then came right back down. So to say like you were an astronaut where these guys trained for months, for years, there's no training. Put on your little blue suit. You'll be at CBS doing the morning news, and then we're going to launch this Sunday, and that's it. You'll be back doing the morning news on Monday. No fatigue, what space does to the body. You're there for 10 minutes. I think from launch to maybe touchdown. Let's see what the entire length was. We'll have to hit the old Google machine, Mario. Let's see.
Used more computing power than their whole flight.
Literally, right now. Plus, I can just talk and get it done. How long was Blue Origin's flight from liftoff to touchdown? The Blue Origin flight from liftoff to landing lasted 11 minutes. Jesus. They were in space for probably 3, 4, 5 minutes. I thought it was 11 minutes in space. It's 11 minutes from blast off to the parachutes and the capsule landing in the desert. 11 minutes.
You saw Katy Perry kissing the ground when they were done.
Yeah. No, it would be a fantastic experience. I'm not denying any of that. I might kiss the ground too. Like, Jesus, did I just go in a rocket ship in outer space? I'm not, only a few hundred people have done this in the history of the world. But I just think it was a little ridiculous. Just the way that Gayle King is speaking about it is insane. And let's see how long they were actually in space. How long was the Blue Origin ship or capsule in space? 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Oh, no. That was into the flight. About 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So 3 minutes and 30 seconds in space. Now, I've jumped out of a plane before, and the dropping at 120 miles an hour before the chute's pulled is exhilarating. On a 1 to 10 scale, that's an 11. I've only done it once. On a 1 to 10 scale, it is an 11. When the chute's pulled and you're floating down, it goes from an 11 to a 3. It's almost depressing. You're like, damn, why'd you pull it so quickly? And I'm not talking like get close to the ground and take a risk, but, pulled way early, safe, just floating down. It was just sort of like, wow, nothing great, But the dropping at 120 miles an hour, leaping out of a plane, exhilarating. So no, I'm not dogging going in a rocket, going 62 miles up and coming back down and spending 3.5 minutes in space is incredible. It would be something, obviously, you remember the rest of your life, life-changing, maybe life-altering. I'm not saying it's not. Like, maybe some incredible experience, some other trip you've taken that just had some, crazy stuff that might be equal to that. But as far as like mentioning Alan Shepard, and how do you know that, hey, our flight took the same trajectory as Alan Shepard? How do you even know that? And then to act like you're an astronaut and the training we did and all this, just nonsense, just a loss of reality. That 3.5 minutes in space warped Gayle King's brain a little bit. I don't want to say act like you've been there before, because not many people have been launched in a rocket into space and back, but you're a reporter. You're a journalist. Have some objectivity. And I know you were part of the story. I get it. But just the, Alan Shepard and astronaut stuff and a little crazy and nothing heroic or brave or courageous about it. Nothing. Not like the astronauts. Corey Johnson with you, 766-9480. Joe Dumars, officially named Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations for the Pelicans. David Griffin out, Joe Dumars in a matter of days. Like, the Pels did not, scour the NBA. They did not bring in, a bunch of hot shots. The number 2 guy with, Oklahoma. The number 2 guy with whatever. Who are the successful NBA teams? And I'm not talking just record this year. I mean, year in, year out. Maybe San Antonio, they've been struggling. Who's their number 2 guy, their number 3 guy, or woman? So no, not that keen on Joe Dumars. And I love Joe Dumars. Love Joe Dumars. Are you kidding me? Those Piston teams, he's from Louisiana. What's not to love? But it isn't like, he's been working in the NBA front office in New York for the last few years. It's not like NBA teams have been banging on his door. It's not like he's been getting interviewed for jobs to run NBA franchises. But the Pels felt comfortable with him, and they make that move. No, a friend of mine yesterday said the Pelicans are lazy as an organization. Lazy. And maybe that's true. It just seems like, do you go get Joe Dumars or do you go get like the next, up and comer? But then the Pels could argue that's what we thought we were getting with David Griffin 6 years ago. And that did not work out. 766-984-80. There was a jazz fest where 3 weekends of music were scheduled. When was that jazz fest? 766-9480. You got the answer? I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse day spas, the city's premier day spa experience. And also, how did those 3 weekends at Jazz Fest work out? Everything was, a go? 766-9480. 766-9480. Every day, this program on radio, on television, on YouTube, brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex, home of Lamarck Ford, #1 in the region, home of Lamarck Lincoln, #1 in the state. You need a commercial van, SUV, or truck? Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Elmwood's got you covered. Yeah, bridging the gap. Lamarck Ford, the big store, Lamarck Lincoln, the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennebra by the lake. I-10 at Williams, the car corner, right on the corner, right on the price. And across DeParish by the river in Elmwood and Harahan, Jefferson Highway, Lamarck Crescent City Ford, over 80 years. New Orleans Ford truck dealership. Every day, the program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex and Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Corey Johnson with you, wide open Wednesday, 766-9480. That's how you dial us up, 766-9480. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed Councilman District D, Eugene Green, joining us on the program. This says it all about this warped New Orleans Walk of Fame, the Mayor and Masterpiece Project with a clear, crazy agenda. Not a committee that's knowledgeable, that understands New Orleans. Bunch of people sitting in a room Googling crap, not knowing, what's going on. Eugene Green joins me on the program. There's a Fox 8 story mentioning this Walk of Fame, that the Walk of Fame wants $500,000 from the city. Eugene Green, in the story, mentions like Ruby Bridges and her family, like how are they going to come up with the money? And, Lucille Bridges isn't even alive. Ruby Bridges doesn't live here. You're going to ask them for $35,000. He just thought it was crazy. Here's the great part about that comment. And Eugene Green is a councilman. He's a native New Orleanian. He's a Harvard graduate, so he's not dumb. The opposite. He assumed, like any normal New Orleanian with just the slightest bit of knowledge of our city would assume, that Ruby Bridges was on that top 50 list, the first 50. She wasn't. Good job, Mayor. Good job, Master P. No Ruby Bridges. Hey, do either one of you know who Lucille Bridges is, by the way? Lucille Bridges. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And
You'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it.
let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. Get Audubon Gutters.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Total maintenance keep you. TM-AC.com, your food spot. TM-AC.com, your food spot.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Thoughtful conversation, common sense. Corey Johnson.
With all due respect, Mr. Dennis, I had no idea you'd gotten experimental surgery to have your removed.
Live streaming at CoreyTalks.com.
What was that? Well, I said with all due respect.
I love that. With all due respect, you can pretty much say anything and insult anyone you want. Corey Johnson with you back on a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Thanks so much for joining us. Hey, Total Maintenance is there for you if you need air conditioning help. Starting to warm up. We almost hit 80 today. If you're in New Orleans or Baton Rouge and need air conditioning help, Total Maintenance is there for you. For 40 years, sterling reputation with the Better Business Bureau. And the reason's simple. They're honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. What more do you want with an AC operation? I don't want to learn about air conditioning. I want to trust the people I deal with. I want them to be able to diagnose it right away, and I want them to come right away because my AC's not working right. That's what you get with fair and honest Lucas and the boys at Total Maintenance. In New Orleans or Baton Rouge, weekday, weekend, overnight, holiday. If you ever need AC help, Total Maintenance is there for you. TM-AC.com. In New Orleans or Baton Rouge, if you need air conditioning help, TM-AC.com. Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Deliberto Total Maintenance Studios. Wide open Wednesday. Corey Johnson with you. Missed the 4 o'clock hour. Eugene Green joined us talking about this controversial New Orleans Walk of Fame. These Walk of Fame folks, Master P, the mayor came up with this. They want $500,000 from the Wisner Fund to fund the Walk of Fame. But here's the crazy part. It was found out today that from now on, if you win, you're nominated, you have to come up with $35,000. Who came up with that? 50 people nominated. That's like $1.7 million. Did the mayor pay 35 grand? Yeah, right. Todd Graves didn't even show up for the ceremony for his plaque. You think he paid 35 grand? I'll give you a credit at Cane's. Wow.
Free toast.
Exactly. Toast for life. Master P freaking out about it. Well, the problem is Master P and the mayor simply don't have the wherewithal or whatever's required to, hey, let's make this legit. Let's get a board that we aren't on. We just came up with the idea. Let's get a board of people that know New Orleans, its history, its culture, people that are significant, people that are going to be fair and objective about it, that understand this is forever. Don't want to do something half-assed. Don't want to do something with a whacked agenda. Instead, the first 50 people are thrown out there, and the mayor and Master P are on the list. I mean, Master P, you could argue, but it would probably be like, hey, dude, you're on the committee. Why don't you wait? Anyone would have waited that would be on the committee. Master P puts himself in. Crazy. Master P, you're welcome to call the program anytime, 766-9480. I wouldn't do it, though, because you're wrong and I'm right. And then the mayor putting herself on, it's just crazy. Typical ego, maniacal, sort of sociopath, LaToya Cantrell putting herself as top 50 most significant New Orleanians in history, but not Ruby Bridges, not Pete Fountain, not just crazy. Not you think about like the folks that started music, Jelly Roll Morton, not on it. The pioneers of jazz invented the genre. Andrew Higgins, the Higgins boat. Eisenhower said, save the world. Help the Allies win the war. Not on the list. I'd say of the 50, about 25 are legit. And of the remaining 25, half of them, like a dozen, could be considered later down the road, like Trombone Shorty and Mia X. They're legitimate. They deserve it, but not in the top 50. And then there's like another dozen that don't need to be on the list at all. Nowhere near it ever. Anyway, the council wanted 500. The committee of the NOLA Walk of Fame wanted $500,000 from the city. The council simply said, can we see your budgets, the nominating process, overall operations? Master P freaks out. We don't need your money. You're supposed to just trust us and give us the $500,000. Council's like, yeah, it doesn't work that way. And then the council finds out that if you win, you got to come up with 35 grand. Master P, that's as dumb as it gets. You can make a song about it, and maybe the song will be popular, but in reality, in real life, as dopey as it gets, you win, now come up with 35 grand. Oh, here are, top 50. By the way, there were 20 that were more deserving, but they didn't have the 35 grand. So we 86 them off the list and brought up people that could. No, essentially, if you have $35,000, you too can be in the New Orleans Walk of Fame. Speaking of the mayor, Junket Cantrell back in D.C., third time in the last 5 weeks or so. Back in D.C., very important. Jobs and money coming to the city. The mayor terminating Ivy Waste's French Quarter contract in about 90 days. Troy Henry, who does not own a trash company, he'll be taking over. Will there be sidewalks pressure washed every day like Ivy Waste does when the contract only requires 2 times a week? Ivy Waste does it 7 days a week. Will there be lemon fresh scent? Will there just be a better overall job of taking ownership of the quarter like Ivy Waste has, like them or not? Gayle King, something happened to her in outer space, bumped her head on a meteorite or something, says, it wasn't a ride. It was a space flight. Like Alan Shepard, I'm an astronaut. It's like, Gayle King, are you serious? From blast off to touchdown, it was 11 minutes. Gayle King spent 3.5 minutes in space. There was no training or anything required. Nothing. But She's going to say she's Alan Shepard, an astronaut. Don't call it a ride. It was a space flight. Gayle King, calm down. What's that, Blue Boy? Where's Laika? Laika, the Russian dog launched into outer space. Oh, buddy, I don't think Laika survived, sadly, Blue Boy. Laika. Wow, what a memory, Blue Boy. You're incredible. What else? Thank Mario Brothers and tell everyone we'll see you tomorrow at 4.
Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube.